Today I'm joined by Rehan Ahmed. Rehan is the co-founder and CEO of Smart Web, a digital agency based in Kent, and they're best known for software product development, web application design and development. So, hi Rehan.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you very much, and thank you very much for joining us today. So, look, for anyone who doesn't know Smart Web Agency, or how would you describe what you do, who you do it for, and also what makes you different?
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much, Simon, for the invitation, and I look forward to our chat. We are a smart web agency. I'm Rehan Ahmed. I'm running this company for last 7 years now. We are a digital transformation company based in Ashford, Kent. We help ethically responsible organizations of all sizes to solve their problems by adopting right technology for them. In a nutshell, that's what we do. We work with ethically responsible companies only, of all sizes. We help businesses finding the right technology for them. If there is any problem with their processes, so we basically automate those processes by implementing the AI, the new buzzword, the new technology. If there is any problem with their sales pipeline, so create them new technology, new funnels, and if there is any problem with their internal processes, if there is a lot of manual work involved and everything, so we give them automations, we create tools, we connect the things together. So that's what we do. We basically a technology house, providing digital transformation to businesses worldwide, basically, starting from Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UAE, Europe, UK mainly. So yeah, that's what we do.
Brilliant, thank you. Look, sounds really exciting, and we'll get into that in a bit deeper in a bit. But let's let's take us back to the beginning first. And what led you to start Smart Web Agency, and what problem were you trying to solve?
Um, Well, if I take you back to 2000 in fact, I'll take you to my childhood. So my family, we have our own business, and my father, I used to work with him in his business. So the likeness of the business started from a very young age. So because I always wanted to do a business, I always wanted to solve a problem for people. So that's the obsession that I grew up with. I came to the UK 2009. I did my master's in software engineering from City University, London. I worked in a company for 8 years. I joined as a junior software developer. When I left the company, I was the in charge of all their operations technically. So I was the international development in charge, managing their operations in South Africa, Australia, UK, Canada, and all that. 2019, cut short to that specific time, my wife was 5 months pregnant, and I left my job. So we had some money saved for our mortgage. And my wife, she's the iron lady. She's the woman behind me, basically. She's taking all bold decisions for me. So she was pregnant in 5 months. She was like, "You always wanted to do the business. We can buy a house later on. Just spend this money to your passion and then start business." And that's how it started, basically. So I started the software development company 2019 smart web agency. We used to live in Wimbledon, with myself only. I was the only one. Now I've got about 30 people working with me worldwide, UK, Europe, UAE, and internationally. So that's my story. So the id was always there. I always wanted to do the business, and then you always need a push, external push. That for me, that external push is my wife. She's always behind me, my iron lady. She's taking all big decisions for me, basically.
Uh, As they say, behind every great man is a great woman.
Yeah, rightly so.
And I can absolutely echo that with my wife as well. Um,
So
okay,
that,
so look, you've been running the agency since what 2019.
yeah.
So what have been the biggest lessons from building it over the last few years?
Um, when they say the business is hard, it's correct. It is hard, but they miss a part of the statement here. It's hard, but it's amazing. It gives you the flexibility, the freedom. And then my biggest learnings are whenever I fall, I look for the answers, I seek answers. When I started a company in 2019, I did not know what VAT was, who HMRC is, what is the payroll, how do you run it, and all those, all those buzzwords. There have been few penalties because I was unaware, so I had to basically go and seek advice. So for me, it's basically constant learning, which is exciting. And then I read a lot. Whenever I find any problem, I try to find the best book available on that specific topic. And then I read that book, I read another book and another book, and then somehow that puzzle is not hard anymore, basically, because you learn from someone else's experience and then you adopt and then you implement. So that's what I actually do. My learning has been instrumental in the last 7 years. I did not know anything about the UK market, how the cash flow works, how the client retention works. Now I can write my own book about it because I've read about 30 plus books on business only in last 2 years. So yeah, that's my massive learning.
What's one good book that you'd recommend to the people listening to this, Ryan?
In my situation as a leader, or as the as as the CEO of the company, the one book I recently read, it's The Hard Thing About the Hard Things. That book was amazing, and I actually got anxious reading that book because I thought I'm reading my own story where there's a cash flow problem, there's a problem with the product, there's a problem with the customer, and then how do you navigate it basically? What keeps you going? When I start the work, well, I always ask my this question from myself since 2019. But now after reading that book and few others, all entrepreneurs do the same. Like, what keeps us going? If the money is the factor, then I had the money in 2019. I had a really good profile. I could have worked with Google or Facebook or any other company, but I decided not to do that and then basically started my own company. So that's the passion which led me. This book resonated with me. There are a few more books that I can give you some name, but yeah, one of the this book is the best book
That's the
of
one
any
that stands out.
CEO to read. Yeah.
You're right. And one of my mentors sort of shared a phrase with me which resonates with what you've just said is before you earn, you have to learn.
That's it.
And I think that's a great saying. Before you earn,
Yeah.
you have to learn. And I think what you've highlighted there is something really key for the people listening to this, which is actually you can be really great at what you do. You can be brilliant at your craft, your service, your trade, but
Yeah.
actually it's the bit about learning how to run a business. That's something we don't generally get taught to do.
It's a
I don't.
completely, sorry, you go on. Yeah.
No, you go ahead, man. God,
Yeah,
please.
it's completely, I completely agree with you and I resonate with you. But one thing I would say though, the mistakes which most people make, from my own experience, I'm not an expert, but what I see, that I say,
What we want to hear.
you need to learn your craft, basically. That's non-negotiable.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so, for example, when I started my business, then I had about 10 years of experience working in leadership, about software development for a company that had about 1,000 plus employees. So I learned my craft. And then, of course, the ed was always there about the business that I wanted to do the business. So that motivation was there. But even then, when I started my journey, the day one was difficult, but it was exciting. And I run my business the same way. There's a book, the Bezos letters, which the Jeff Bezos wrote, letters to his shareholders. The book is a compilation of all those letters. So there is one concept that I really like, and that resonated with me. It's the day one mentality. When I started my business, day one was anxious. It was unknown. Um, I had to be adaptable. I was ready to fall. I was ready to learn from my mistakes, and I was ready to fail as well. I mean, I couldn't have made it this far, and I was ready for it. And that's the mentality that I implement every day when I start my work. That this is day one. I need to be curious. I need to see what challenges come in my way. So if there is one lesson that I've learned in last few years, that is the day one mentality, and that I implement in all my life decisions and my business decisions as well. Because if I am not curious, we'll fall behind as a company. So I need to be curious all the time. So yeah, that day one mentality is the masterpiece, and that has
Great.
transformed my business and my personal.
Great share. Love that. That's brilliant. The day one mentality and that all the things you've said there, be curious and foul fast and all of those sort of things. Brilliant. So
Yeah.
and and if you could wave a magic wand right now and solve a particular problem in your business, what would that be?
I think it's the I'm a classic introvert. If I'm given that opportunity, I would like to never eat my lunch alone. I would like to be out there with people, making connections. That is something which is lacking at the moment. As a leader, I see. I've run my company. I'm customer obsessed, the quality obsessed. I make sure that my clients, what they're after, they get it. So the company has customer obsession. The day one mentality is there, but the social element that needs to be there in me, that's missing, which I think should be there. Because there is a book from Keith Ferrazzi, I think, and the name of the book is Never Eat Alone. And
Mm,
that's my biggest advice. And I wish I could do that. I'm trying to be better. I'm going to more luncheons now. I'm going to conferences, meetings. Whenever I go to any place like such, I make connections, and through those connections, sometimes I get business as well. But as an entrepreneur, we need to be out there. If I could do the magic overnight, then that's the quality that's missing in me, and I would like to have that. Because I though the people who have it, I envy it, because it's the best thing you can have. The people, the connection, that needs to be there always.
yeah, look, it's yeah, people are the most important part of a business. So yeah, absolutely. And look, man, you've worked with you know 50 plus businesses globally. You've helped clients achieve things like 300% growth through SEO. Um, now, and a lot of business owners invest in websites or SEO, but don't see a return on investment.
Yeah.
Where do you think most of them go wrong?
I think most businesses, their approach is, they're like, okay, create as a website, and suddenly somehow tomorrow it will start to rank on Google number one and will start to get business, and that's just wrong. Uh, website alone cannot do everything for you. Basically, there has to be a framework. There has to be a pattern. For example, the framework that we use, for example, when it comes to SEO and the way we have helped people, it's so I'm reading a book these days. It's called The Endless Customers, and that book has given a really good framework to me, and I'm applying that to my customers as well. So you need to be honest. For example, if imagine a scenario. For example, if you want to buy something today, what is the first thing that you would like to see? And the second thing, for me, the first thing is I would like to go to Google. I'll go to Google and I'll type that specific thing that I'm after, and then I'll see the reviews.
Yeah,
So the good reviews, the pricing needs to be there. Of course, the website needs to be good. And then, constantly looking for good backlinks and everything. So creating a simple website for SEO these days, it doesn't work. Because you can create a website in 5 minutes with ChatGPT and other platforms like such. So there has to be a set pattern. The originality needs to be there. Because if I'm coming to your website or social media page, I need to know that these people can solve my problem. Only
mm,
then I will take your services or product. Otherwise, I will not buy anything from you. And that's the motto, or that's the framework that we are implementing in our clients who we are giving SEO services to. And we have got about 15 or 16 clients on retention now, where they are working with us. They are seeing good results. They're ranking number one on most of the keywords. One of our clients, actually, so they're one of the biggest paintball providers in the world. So they rank literally. You type that word in Google or ChatGPT, they're everywhere, worldwide, not just the UK. That's the achievement they've got, and that's all because original content, transparency, good reviews, good customer service. people talking good about them online. So, you need to be very uh, truthful with your craft if you would
Yeah,
like to get business. As a software development company, I can create you a tool, I can create you one of the best looking website in the world. But if you're not being honest with your craft, you cannot turn your visitors into customers. It's as simple as that.
I love that. That's great. In the actually bringing those two things together, that the software, the development, all of those sort of things. But actually, yeah, it's those underlying things that complement that and work together. Um, and actually, it reminded me of we've mentioned a couple of books here, but it reminded me of a book by Marcus Sheridan. They ask, you answer. I
Yeah.
don't know whether you've read that book, yeah. And
The endless customer is the second version of Marcus Sheridan.
yeah,
So they ask, you answer, and then, in fact, I'll show you that book. It's here. It is by Marcus Sheridan. It
yeah,
is my guidebook. I mean,
endless customers, yeah. He's
it's one of the best frameworks you can basically, and this book is recently published. So it's talking about AI and YouTube and how you can monetize your business with good SEO, with good transparency. So anyone who's on this journey trying to rank on Google or trying to get more business, I recommend them reading this book because I've changed all my marketing strategy after reading this book.
He's great. I mean, I've been lucky enough to meet him a couple of times, and
Good, great.
he's yeah, fantastic. And what it's just so logical what he has to say. But and actually, sort of linked into that because your agency does everything from web development to AI integration, and one of the hot topics at the moment, AI is a huge topic, but
Yeah.
one in particular that links into what you were just saying is people potentially using AI now to search rather than using Google.
Yeah.
What's your views on that, man?
Uh, I think look, the paradigm is shifting now. On Google, people are anxious because they're losing the number of visits on their website. Because even on Google, when you search, Google gives you that glimpse of the content, but people can basically read and then go away. They never see your website, basically. Um, I think there is more authenticity now. There are two platforms. You can go to Google, you can search, you can see the results there, and then when you go to ChatGPT, you write a question and then you get an answer, and with that answer, you get a link of any website. To me, it sounds more authentic. Why I say that? Because it's not just because with Google, this is my again perception. I might be wrong, but this is my experience and what I've learned in the last few years with Google. Sometimes it used to rank sometimes a website which is really good. They're spending a lot of money on pay-per-click and everything, but their services was not very good. And but when it comes to ChatGPT or any other like Gemini or any other tool, when you search a question, they amalgamate results from your website, from the chatter on the internet about you, from the reviews about you, from the videos and everything, and then they collate a result and then they give you targeted results. So I'm very serious about the results we are getting on ChatGPT or Gemini these days because I think that's the future because most people are going towards there. And then with Google, you get a link, then you do your own searches. But with Gemini or any other LLM models, you get the answer, and I'm yet to find a problem with those answers. I think they're more authentic.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. And um, okay, no, thank you for sharing that. Um, and actually, just one thing that linked to what you sort of said earlier, because you said about day one starting off. Um, but what does your role look like now compared to when you first started?
Uh, to be honest, it's still the same.
Yeah,
Because yeah, what I do is when I started, I was the only one working. So I was doing the software development, I was doing the marketing, the sales, the compliance, and everything. But for me, at that time, I had about one or two customers I started with. I was obsessed with them. I was like, you tell me what you want, and then I'll give it to you. I've given my compliance role to someone else, my HR role to someone else, the sales and marketing. Yes, I'm managing a little bit, but for me, the customer obsession is still there. I've got my 50 customers. They're on my speed dial. I mean, they talk to me on regular basis. They know I am there. It's big, and that's what I try to transfer to my people, to my project managers, to my CTO that this is what we need to do. Any new customer, be it small, medium, large size organization, they go through by me. So they understand the ethos of the company. Our ethos is really simple. We are curious, we are customer obsessed. We are there to help them no matter what, and no matter what time of the day as well. We now provide 24/7 support. So my role kind of stayed remain anything that can be managed on in silos, that's done by someone else. But the core or the bloodline of the business, which is the customers, my obsession is still the same. So my role, I think, has evolved into more of a role where I'm coordinating with clients more. I'm not doing the software development anymore. I used to, but I'm just obsessed with my customers. I want to solve problems for them.
Yeah, yeah, great. You look, put the customers first, and where do you see smart web agency in the next sort of 3 to 5 years?
One of the best digital transformation company in the world.
Well, love that. Great aspirations to have,
Yeah.
um, and look, finally, there's a question I always like to ask everyone that's kind enough to join me on that discussion, and that is that what advice would you give to an 18-year-old you? So if you could go back and speak to yourself when you were 18, what would you
Yeah.
say to yourself?
Um, Learn your craft. First of all, identify your craft, then learn your craft. Like all spend as much time as you possibly can. Because as one of the Buddha says that you can't fill from empty bucket. So your bucket needs to be full. So from that perspective, identify your craft, identify what you like, master your craft. Only then, if you want to start a business or think about starting a business, then that's how you do it. And then lastly, which I regret, I never learned this skill, but now I'm learning this skill. That is the to be out there, to meet people, to be there always. In gatherings and in conferences, in meetings, find your relevant gatherings and go there, meet people, introduce yourself. I know it will be because I'm going through it, so I know it's difficult
Yeah.
because I'm a classic introvert. So from that perspective, it becomes very hard to go to someone, and then introduce yourself. And for that, I'm taking sessions, I'm doing different courses. Recently, I've done a course with University of London, City University of London based business school. I've done a course with Kingston Business School. I travel as far as, Spain, Barcelona, if I have to from here for one meeting. That gives me the opportunity to meet like-minded people. And so that's what you need to do, basically. And then always be stay true to your values and things that you believe on, because never compromise. I never do that, because one thing that I started my this interview with was ethically responsible. So we work with ethically responsible organizations only. We turn away about 3 to 4 hot leads every month if they want us to work on any application that's involving gambling or the any other industry that is not ethical. We just turn that away, that business, politely, because that's my values. So I want to stay true to my values. Yeah. So that's my advice to anyone who wants to start.
Great advice there. Thank you for sharing that. And look, Ryan, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today and sharing more about your business, but also your journey as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. Have a good one. All the best.